First up, we're going to have a look at the soybean market for April. April being the most bullish month for soybeans. 58% of Aprils have finished higher than they have opened and has made just over $30,000 in just over 20 years in this back test. But if we look at the last couple of years have actually not been great for soybeans on the bullish side. Last year actually saw a loss. The year before was pretty much sideways. And the year before that actually saw a very good rally. So the last 2 out of 3 have not been good, but overall, this has been a pretty good month for soybeans, and let's have a look how the heat map looks for April in soybeans. Soybeans heat map looks really good. There's lots of green on here without any red at all. The green concentrates mostly in the second week where we have really two consecutive days on the horizontal, and we have 3 and 2s vertically, all in this cluster right here in the second week. And what I really like about this week is that we have a lot of days that have only had a couple of losses. Here in the trading day of the year, we had 1 loss, 2 losses with 20 wins, 1 loss over here as well for April 8th on the date. And a lot of these dates are in over $10,000 on the back test. This is a really strong week right here for the soybeans. That's where I'll be looking to be long if a bullish opportunity presents itself. And then as we go on later in the month, we have a few bright greens here as well, but they're not laid out perfectly in a horizontal or vertical, which I'm not as crazy about. And then we get here, we have a good horizontal day here on the 29th, which has high 80 percentages and over $10,000 as well. So there's a good day too heading into May. British pounds have historically had really strong Aprils as well. Almost 80% of Aprils have finished higher than they've opened, and we've had just under $25,000 in the back test. Really strong numbers. And if we look at the seasonal indicator at the bottom, we see how this rally right here that we're at the bottom of, typically as March comes to a close and April begins, this is right where we are. We see a big rally in the historical seasonal chart each of these years, and that's what we're trying to capitalize. And let's look on the heat map and see where to pinpoint these days. Lots of green on the British pound heat map, and especially we're going to look here in the second week. It's kind of like soybeans. This second week is the big one to look at. And the reason for that is we have a little bit of red up here in the first week, although we do have a 5-day hold up here, which is really good. There's a smattering of reds and greens, which I don't want to focus too much on. I want to focus on the areas that have horizontal and vertical columns of solid greens. And if we get bright greens in there, even better. So if we look at this calendar, we see we get that in the second week, and then here at the bottom we have a cluster here of bright greens as well. But what I like about the second week is we also have the best 5-day hold of the entire year occurring on the Thursday, April 10th, and that is 21-2 record over the 23 years and $15,000 for that 5-day hold. And if you look at the numbers in this week as well, we have a lot of them in the high 80s and into the 90%, and we have good dollar values too. And then this week before the Good Friday, we have a shortened week. We have a couple of bright green days there. The week after, we see not super bullish, but we do have some greens, but not bright greens. And then we have that good area again at the bottom. So those are your key areas to focus in on for the British pound. And as always, here's our look at the S&P E-minis. This is for April of 2025. April is the 4th most bullish month as ranked by us at Simplexity Analytics, even though the 84% winning percentage is the best month of the entire year. What drags it down to being the 4th most bullish is because the dollar values just aren't as high as some other months. So what that tells me is, yes, it's a very bullish month, but the dollar values or the ranges for April have been less than the other months. So that's the reason for that. But if we look at the seasonal indicator at the bottom, we see how April has seen big time rallies on the seasonal indicator. We kind of get the bottom around the middle to end of March, and then we have a big rally as April gets going, and then we have a little bit of a summer swoon. So that's kind of how it's played out for the S&P E-minis from April on. Let's look on the heat map and see if there's areas to key in on. The S&P E-mini heat map for April, this is kind of what we see in the stats of that. Yes, it has a high winning percentage, but the dollar values aren't as much, and that's playing out here because we don't have a ton of days that are above $10,000, but a lot of them have pretty good winning percentages. We had a lot of the high 80s and into the 90 winning percentages, and here as well, the 5-day hold is a good one, but not a great one. It doesn't rank in the top 5 of the year, but it is there. If I'm to key in on a bullish area for the S&Ps in April, it's going to be right here in the second week, and I'm going to carry that all the way to just before the holiday. And then after that, I'm not going to look too much into the end of the month, because this week here, yes, it has a few bright greens, but the other greens aren't quite as good, with really not very good dollar values at all. And the last week has red mixed with it, so I don't want that. So my keyed in area is going to be week 2, week 3, especially week 3, probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified on our next videos. Simplexity Analytics, making complex trading simple.